Well, my engine's messed up. I need a new one. And it brings up a great question. Why the hell are marine engines so damn expensive? Let's get into it while we tear down the old TMD40 from Volvo. I need more tools. Did I forget more tools? It's expensive because it has the word marine in it. That's the old adage. And end of episode. Thanks for coming by. Okay, now let's get into it a little bit more because it is a little funny, especially looking at this engine, which is 47 years old. I was trying to find a donor motor or a replacement motor that's exactly the same as this, and the asking prices for 47-year-old questionable quality used engines with high hours is higher than a new engine. So why is that? Well, it's pretty simple. It's Facebook Marketplace, it's capitalism. Those are knuckle-dragging mouth breathers, and they're greedy. They want some money. They want all the money. They want every single dollar they could possibly get. But it's capitalism. Everyone's greedy. Why can they be greedy? Why can they ask this high of a price? And I think that comes down to flexibility in demand. So most people are familiar with the concept of supply and demand. And oh my God, come on, no. I really cranked on this a bit hard. Let's go. Oh, there we go. Really hope I didn't just snap it. Anyway, but there is also the concept of inelasticity of supply or inelasticity of demand. And that inelasticity of demand is a familiar concept, I think, to most Americans who've ever had to go to a hospital. And since they have capitalism in the hospital, it's a great example of inelastic demand. Wow. It's like the cleanest part of the engine I've found so far. Crank bolt. Are you gonna come off now? So if you're a freedom-loving American who just blew off a few of his fingers on July 4th celebration, well, you get down to the hospital and you're kind of inelastically demanding some medical attention. And because that costs money there, they can charge basically whatever they want. Because what else are you gonna do? And that is similar to the situation with heavy-duty diesel engines. But heavy-duty diesel engines, that is a more broad category, but it also includes marine diesels and tractors and factory machines and basically anywhere where the engine's doing a ton of work, possibly making you a ton of money or costing you a ton of money. It is pretty damn important. And there's not a ton of flexibility when it goes down. You need it up and operational as quickly as possible. Check out that sunrise. Summer's around the corner, baby. That being said, it's damn near freezing right now. It's cold. I've got my coffee and I've got my puller. You can really see this in action in the difference between heavy-duty diesels and automotive diesels. Same power, same displacement, a bunch of other stats. In fact, some of them are being used across platforms. So like Isuzu engines quite frequently will be powering light-duty trucks and excavators and backhoes and all kinds of boats out there powered by the Isuzu engines. And those prices are quite reasonable because they share the exact same platform with the automotive side, meaning there's a lot of them out there and people are flexible. When it's a car that's broken down, you can easily get into another car. When it's your specialized $150,000 excavator that's broken down, well, yeah, you're kind of stuck with that. Of course, automotive, marinized, and heavy duty are all slightly different caveats, and there is things you need to get a fully marinized heavy duty diesel engine that you're not going to get in an automotive or even a heavy duty engine. So tack on an extra couple thousand for all of those. Yeah, I got my SOL on that one. Well, where you see this the strongest is on the Volvo engine. So for instance, this engine, pulling one out that's missing half of its components, the people are still asking $5,000. That's without a fuel pump, that's without intercoolers, that's without a turbo, missing a ton of stuff. And then for the ones that are complete, 10 grand. And that's on an engine that's already got 4,000 hours on it. Part of that is with the work I'm doing right here. This is a lot of work. Ripping this engine out, getting the whole other engine out, getting a crane opening up my hatch, dismantling my bimini just so I can get this monster hunk of steel out of the boat. But what that does, that gives me flexibility in my demand. I don't need the exact same engine for parts. I don't need a $2,000 turbo. I don't need a $2,000 fuel pump. I can just go and put whatever complete engine I want in here, so long as it's powerful enough to push my boat around. So my demand is flexible, elastic. I don't need the exact same thing. However, this engine is in a ton of work boats up and down the coast. So many boats are using the 40 series Volvo that the parts price is skyrocketed. Because this engine is so widely used, parts like this starter motor are extremely expensive. And people start thinking, hey, why don't I just buy an entire engine and use the parts off of it? Well, that happened for a while. And then, eventually, people just started charging more for the parts engines. Ergo, here we are, $10,000 for a $0 motor. But this isn't just a Volvo problem. This is a heavy-duty engine problem. Lefty Lucy. Who's Lucy? Stop calling me Lucy. There are whole businesses run just on the practice of parting out old engines where the demand for parts is so high that the amount of labor it takes to yank an engine and part it all out and list everything separately is still well worth it. This is especially the case for Volvos because they do stuff like this. Check out this oil cooler. Instead of having a 4-port oil cooler where the coolant goes in here and out there, actually, that's seawater. Instead of the oil cooler just having 4 ports, two for the seawater and then 2 for the oil, they actually flat mount it with gaskets and put all the coolant through there. So it's a custom Volvo part. And this right here is worth a lot of money if it doesn't leak. So I'm gonna leak test this thing, check the zincs on it, and hopefully it will help me pay for a new engine. But yeah, it's a shitty problem. And I'm not going to really make it any better. I'm going to go and list every part I can off of this engine and scavenge back whatever money I can to buy myself a new engine. I will, however, answer messages and be somewhat literate, so I guess I'll improve the overall climate of Facebook Marketplace a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'll be adding to the supply, which theoretically does drop the prices a tiny bit. Crispy O-rings. I do like that almost every bolt on this engine is a 13mm. It's handy. Just use one wrench. The advantage to doing all this work, of course, is that not only will I be able to maybe scavenge a couple of dollars off of this, but I'll also, hopefully, oh my God, be able to get this engine out without hiring a crane. We'll see. The engine complete weighs 1,000 pounds. I've easily pulled 300 or 400 pounds off of it so far. And we'll just keep doing that until it gets to a, I don't want to say manageable, but more manageable place. Wonder if I can drop the crankshaft out of it. Also, I don't know if you've seen the logistics, but I do live on a small Gulf island, so there's no shipyard here anymore. So me getting this boat to a crane, that's also quite expensive. Oh my God. These bolts are seized, boy. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Is that the sound of a snapping bolt or a loosening bolt? Who knows? Oil, cooler, filter, bracket. Oh, that's the stuff. There we go. Yay, more money. And that one is just a solid piece of steel. Probably won't sell though. If it's not a piece that rots out, well, it's not really worth much. In order to get the gearbox off the engine, which is the last thing I have to remove off of this engine, I need to disassemble or decouple the prop shaft from the transmission. In order to do that, I need to decouple these bolts, and then these are so rusted and so messed up, that got me looking at this prop shaft, which is also got some corrosion on it, which really got me thinking about, well, this stern tube goes on for a millennia and a half. It's got a stuffing box here. I know that the prop on the other side does not have a zinc on the actual prop shaft because it has a Diver's Dream big giant one bolted to the side, right where I assumed it was going through and making contact with the metal back there. And I really don't feel like I should assume anything set up properly on this boat. So it kind of makes me want to yank the prop shaft and check to make sure that I still have all of my prop shaft, because galvanic corrosion will just eat a prop shaft alive underwater, and the stainless will just like become, you know, Swiss cheese. In order to remove the prop shaft, usually you decouple it here and remove the rudder and like pull it all off of the back of the boat. However, I have an opportunity now, since the engine's coming out, to pull the prop shaft inward, and I won't get that opportunity again. So if I want to remove the prop shaft and check it and or replace it without having to remove the rudder, now's the time. Well, not now, but like when I get the engine out. Of course, that will leave a 2-inch hole in my boat in the water. Which is not unfamiliar for me, but it's something I don't aim to happen a lot. For now, just rusty bolts.
Do you hear that?
Is this a weird seagull outside?
Oh, a weird seagull outside.
Yeah. That's a weird sounding seagull. So sad. She's so sad. This poor girl. What are you doing to her?
Hello? Hello? Want to come inside? You want to come inside? Oh, you do. What do you... No, hey. We're working. We can't just be on adventures all the time. Come here. She gone. She doesn't want to come in. She wants us to go play. Like, it's finally nice out.
Who put a prop shaft in the middle of my boat? It takes up so much fucking space. Oh, there we go. All right, it's not just inelastic demand. There's also age and supply. This engine is 45 years old. And yeah, good luck finding some of these parts. They're getting fewer and further between. Yep. That motor mount's fucked. That's gonna... Oh! Are you kidding me? 2 feet of leverage is still not enough? Come on. Straight to the bilge! Oh, so fun. Alright, time to get a blowtorch. Oh, hello.
looks pretty cool from up here too. Yeah, you keep it. We're almost there. Is it How are we gonna cook our chicken?
I don't know.
We're gonna be able to take being brought to the side like that.
Yeah, I think so. It's a big heavy piece. Ooh, that's... But it's doing its job, it's not sliding.
Yeah.
Oh, that just like slid a hell of a lot when I just took my weight off.
Okay, well don't take your fucking weight off. Jeez, Ed.
I didn't realise how much of a structurally integral part I was playing.
You are a valued member of this crew, Ed, and I frankly I feel
Cool.
Oh.
Hey. You okay, Ed?
Is it worth just getting a line around the top of this and then just pulling it over to something over there?
Oh yeah.
That's what I was thinking, is if I hold the tension on it with it swinging out here and then you slacken it off as it's swinging out.
Put yourself around, it's twisting towards you. Twist it this way.
There you go.
Wait.
Oh,
There we go.
you got it?
And then this way.
Okay.
Still
Look at that! 60 success!
Well, the good news is the new generator weighs half as much as this one.
Yeah.
Generator down, engine, transmission next. But I gotta make sure I get some of this on video because I really gotta do that. There we go. There we go. Yeah, now it's not caught on anything. We can continue lifting. She's oily too, so that sucks. Heavy and oily. So I think we can put that up on that chain up there. I'm caught on the turbo elbow right now, so just set it back down, please. Yeah. Another main reason the Volvos are so expensive is they're actually really small. This engine here is 3.5 liters. And for a lot of the engines in its category, it's actually swinging quite a bit above its weight caliper. This is the first generation of this engine. And by the last generation, it was making 285 horsepower out of that same 3.5 liters, which is actually quite impressive. But by that point, they had switched over to turbo, supercharged, intercooled, multi-point injection. So it's a lot of additions to just the basic 3.5 liter block. When it comes smacking off, it's not going to go directly through the bottom of the boat. It'll hit a few things on the way down.
Just make sure you're not one of them.
Yeah. I'll try not to be, but you know it. I'm going to be in the hospital for sure. I have a bad feeling that these engine mount legs are going to have to come off, but
Oh, to get through.
these, especially the ones back here near the transmission mount spots, is yeah, they're pretty wide.
Have you measured?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of, like, these feet do come off pretty quickly. There's 3 bolts on each one of these.
Okay, well...
So we could do that, but I'd like to really make sure there's 2 come-alongs on it at once before we get to that point. Because I don't trust any of this shit 100%. Insurance policy.
Yeah.
Okay, you're bottomed out there. Now, you're good to pull again.
There you go.
Hop on there. You can probably use that, yeah, use that chain hoist to level it off maybe. Let's see. No, we're clear. You're fully clear on the bottom side now. Just gotta get it over that lip and we're on.
So it's on that ratchet now?
Ratchet a bit. Beauty.
Loading again?
Slower.
Didn't realize I had all that stuff sticking below it.
Oh, hold on, let it drop.
Lift that chain up. Vast empty chasm.
Fucking 8-foot hole or whatever down the center of my boat. It's not gonna go lower though.
Head down.
Well, I'm starting to think that maybe I should leave it sitting as it is right now because it's stable and safe-ish, and then go get a bunch of boards, chop them all up, and build myself sliders for this engine.
Yeah.
And that way, when we go to hoist it out, I can like literally slide it along a platform of wood, which this thing has. This thing's got the
It's got
the base on it, and then. They do well though. Fuck it, 4-hour videos, 45-minute videos, I'll make more money, right? Alright, generator's out of the boat, engine's out of the boat. Doing pretty good. I've been doing some shopping, and it's made me really put the Volvo TMD40 in its place. It's a great engine, it really is. It's clocking some serious numbers out of a much smaller engine than all of its competitors. The interesting things about it, it's over square, or I think it's almost exactly perfectly square bore and stroke, which is weird for a diesel. It's 3.5 liters churning out the same horsepower as engines that are 6 liters and more. So that's fantastic. And it does all of that by still using a full mechanical drive. So I understand why these are popular, and they are popular. The coast here is full of these engines being used by commercial fishermen, by commercial towing operations, by ferry operations. They work. They work really, really well. And if you can get them all the way up to 285 horsepower, well, you can do a lot with that. I just don't think it's the right engine for this boat. Even if I could get a rebuild kit at a decent price, I'm still stuck with an engine that the prices are only going to get worse for. This thing is, yeah, the parts I pulled off of this would easily fund a Perkins or a Cummins or something else like that. And so I'm just not so keen on having this. Now, I also don't want common fuel rail because I want to travel to places where the fuel might be bad. And I'm trying to get away from having a turbo, but I'm also really keen on good fuel economy and on getting an engine that's a little bit smaller, because it would be nice just to have a bit more space in my engine room. But that last one really isn't that important. You've seen my engine room. It's huge. I could fit anything in there, basically. And I should just probably tow my boat to a shipyard, haul it out, get a crane, and not do all of this over again, because this has been a lot of work. It's just, I saved like $2,000 or $3,000 by taking these engines out myself and I just didn't have the money to pay for the new engine going in and the through hauls I need to do and everything else. So the next couple episodes I'll be probably a little bit thinner on the ground. I want to do an episode about what I'm actually doing to make all of this money to pay for all of this, because diving season's coming up, so we're going to be working a ton in the next few weeks, and hopefully we can make enough money to get a nice new engine, well, used, rebuilt engine for Perry. Something I can be proud of, something I can rely on. Great. Well, thank you guys for watching. I got to figure out how to get them out of my cockpit now. Fuck.